Hello, I'm Danielle Smith with Alberta Enterprise Group. We are collaborating with Common Sense Edmonton to interview candidates for the upcoming council election happening on October the 18th. And joining me now is your candidate for what was Ward 11. It's now got a new name, and Sana Kakar is going to tell us what that is. Sana, thanks so much for being with us today. Tell us the name of your ward.
Thanks for the interview and thanks for your time. The name of the ward is Karhiio. It's written with K, but it's pronounced with G.
Do you know what it means?
Karhiio. It's like a tall jungle or forest.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about you. So tell us a bit about your background and why you think what you've done in your career prepares you to be a great city council member.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I'm actually an architecture and urban planning professional. And I have a post-professional master's degree in housing, and affordable homes was my major and low-cost housing was my research. That is from McGill University. So I believe better than a politician, I would know a little more, not a lot, but a little more than him, how the cities are built, how they are managed, and how they are developed. So for that reason, I feel like it's better that a person with some knowledge goes there and kind of fixes the system, which is kind of not working well for the Edmontonians right now.
So tell us what you're hearing when you go door to door. What are people in your ward saying are the top 3 issues?
Well, people are of different, even political backgrounds. They have different opinions about things. So a lot of people, they talk about the tax, property tax increase. That is the first thing I hear with one type of people. Other people talk about general normal issues. This speed change in Edmonton, that is, they brought the speed from 50 to 40 kilometers in residential areas. A lot of people are talking about that. Waste management people talk about. Some people talk about this noise issue around people living around or close to highways. That is a big issue for some people because when it's noise, you cannot do anything properly, and it's causing a lot of stress. These are the things. A lot of people talk about affordable housing, and those are the things. The way the city is managed, that is also a big concern to a lot of people. So the most important what I hear from a lot of people is the tax hike every year. So I tell them that it's not sustainable. You cannot have this every year because after a while the city will be unaffordable to live for people also.
All right. Let me ask you because the former council member is now running for mayor, Mike Nichols. When you look back on his time over the last 4 years, would you have made any decisions differently? Would you have done anything different?
I cannot talk about him personally because he is a councillor there, and a lot of people like him. And some people complain about him that he is, for some people he's very accessible, for some people he isn't. So he's done some good jobs, and some people complain that he didn't do much. So I would like to be more accessible. I would like to be listening to people. And I will try to be more vocal in the city council, listening more to the people and talking more in the council regarding their issues, and try to be more accessible to everyone and try to be wherever the people are, either their places of worship, because people are kind of religious. A lot of people are religious here in this ward. I would try to be there, and also wherever the town the meetings are, I'll try to be accessible there and more available to people.
All right. Let me talk to you a little bit about the role of municipal government, because you did talk already about affordable housing. We'll talk more about that. But there's a number of people who have said that they feel the city gets distracted too easily by things that aren't their job or aren't in their area of jurisdiction. Do you think that's a fair observation? And maybe you can tell me what you think that the task of City Hall should be. What should they be focused on?
Well, City Council should be focused on people, what the people need, and what are the modern needs of metropolitan cities. And they listen to people, they guide them how to manage and how to go forward in tomorrow. So the waste management, the way people do in the world, we should be following those. Also, the environmental issues, we need to tackle that too. Sometimes they might go astray from their path, but when your jurisdictions, you cannot cross that anyways, because you cannot do anything there. You may be talking about it, but if you cannot do in a health sector, which is run by the provincial government, you can just talk about it. So yeah, there may be talks about things which are not part of their jurisdiction, but of course they cannot cross that anyways.
Okay, talk to me a bit about how you think the relationship should be between council and city administration. Do you think that council should just be a high-level governance body and give direction, and then city administration executes, or do you think that the city should, or the council member should take a more direct role in the decision making?
I talked to some people who actually work, they're city planners, and they tell me there is a disconnect. People who are making decisions, they are not involved in the process, also what is happening, how the things have been done. So what they see looks nice, and then they just go for it. If it doesn't look good, they say no. So there is kind of disconnect from the top floor to the bottom floor. And I would like to be, because I'm a professional, you see. For me, the process is very important. How you start something from scratch and take it to the end, to the final conclusion or solution. So I would like to be part of that process also, how it starts. The concept is very important in this creation. Like if you are planning something for people, the concept is very important, that which direction that it is going. So when the concept is good, then actually the plan or the design goes in the right direction, and it works for people also. So that would be my goal, that we should be closely monitoring or involved in also the process, which I feel when I talk to people, there is kind of disconnect.
All right. Well, thanks for that. And we'll talk probably more about that when we get into the area of affordable housing. I'm interested in your thoughts on that. But let's talk again, just keep me at a high level for a bit. I want to understand how you would address the issue of the biggest spending item for any city, which is their staffing costs, wages, salary, benefits, pensions. And so we'll deal with it in three layers: the council pay, managers, and then frontline staff. So let's first talk about council pay. Do you think council members are paid fairly, or do you think that there should be a pay cut there?
When in the beginning, when I was running and people were asking me how much they earn, I tell you the truth, I did not know how much they were making. So one day I met the previous councillor in our ward, and I asked him, the people are asking me, because I never paid attention to those things, because I was very involved in ideas, in thoughts, in talking to people. And they said, you have to work like 60, 70 hours a week. And because after work, then you'll have meetings, and you meeting people and listening to them. So, and then reading the files and all the things. So it goes to 60, 65, 70 hours a week anyways. And you take away, like the way he told me, I'm not sure, still not sure. You take home 7,000 a month. So when I thought about it, that, well, I think that if you take 7,000, that should be enough for a common person like myself. It's not,
okay.
Yeah. I talk about, the people tell me about those managers. They're making pretty high salaries, and I'm a little thinking about that, how to manage that, because you don't want to. You are going through a campaign, season, and you don't want to offend people. So those things are in my mind. So on my mind. So I cannot disclose much. But
okay.
Yeah,
well, let me ask you then, you've mentioned managers, and there has been an increase in managers for 22% increase in middle management and 19% increase in supervisors since 2017. Would you take a closer look at that? Do you think that's a problem?
Well, this is a this is a lot. You cannot just do that, because here the tax hikes are coming on common people, and there the salaries are growing. So we have to see, if their services, whatever they were providing, are they at par with their income? That would be a big question. And they also say there is a big hierarchy of these managers. One, say three, four managers working there, and everyone is getting pretty good hefty salary. So those things are on my mind.
Okay.
And when we are there, we'll be discussing that. And either we even need that many people. I was talking to a gentleman, I think yesterday, and he was telling me that people working for city for a long time, they can manage the city better than the people that we are hiring from outside, bringing them and paying them a lot of money. That can also be another solution to this issue, that we cannot hire people, paying them a lot of money. In the same time, we have people who can manage or can do the same job, or maybe better than these people, because they are in the system already, they know everything. The people who get promoted, so we can see that too, if we
Okay.
can, yeah. But they're privatizing a lot of these other people, the lower paid people. So this is also a cause of concern. Yesterday, when someone told me that, what are you in favor of that, privatizing all those people? And I was thinking, because I did not know much about it, I have to be honest with you. And at the same time, we're spending so much on everything, and here we're privatizing those people where their jobs are not secure. It's a cause of concern for me too.
Okay, let me ask you about spending. The when you look at how much the city is spending, do you think it's too much? Do you think it's too little, or do you think it's about right?
It depends on what they're spending on. What I tell people, the money they spend on projects. I'm a job. I've been a job captain on projects. So when I'm there, when the project comes in, and we are discussing that, I would already be involved in the process, anyways. So I would know the need of the project, the use, the cost, and even the design of it. So I'll be there watching it and making that more efficient, and try to save taxpayers money. This
Okay,
way,
I want to
yeah.
talk to you about capital projects, because that's one side of the coin. But first, let me before we get into some of the detail, let's talk a bit more about taxes, because you said taxes is one of the issues that come up from a portion of your constituents. And so, what do you think needs to happen there? And the council froze taxes for the first time since 1997, but in the meantime, there's been quite an increase in the overall tax bill over that period of time. Do you think that phrases going forward in the future is the right policy? Do you think or do you think that it needs to increase, or do you think that it needs to decrease?
What I believe, after pandemic, of course, people don't have much to pay for the taxes. My plan is the taxes shouldn't go high. There should be a cap on hikes, or if possible, decrease. My plan is, the way I think, we need other sources of revenue for the city. This tax is not going to sustain like that. People cannot be paying for our lives, our city forever. It will be it's not sustainable, and the city will become unaffordable in a few years. And we need to find other sources of revenue for the city. And I also have plans for that. And maybe if you ask later, I can talk about it.
I'll ask you right now. What about, do you support new taxation powers, or do you have a different idea for how new revenues would come in?
No, I don't like the increase or more taxation powers. I would like to have the city. The city has a lot of potential. We need to do a little tweaks around the city, make it a little more appealing. We can arrange some international level events here. Maybe they start at the beginning of summer. Then Edmonton has a lot of festivals going on. Once the people come in, like for example, Stampede. So after Stampede, if we have an event here, and all the tourism or the tourists come here and stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, buy in our stores, it's a good money they're bringing to the city. So we need that kind of money and that people come bring with them and spend in our cities, and that will help our businesses, and it will generate more revenue for the city also, for the province and for the city also. So what I feel is international level events, bringing people in Edmonton, fix a few areas. Edmonton is a pretty nice city. If you go to the downtown area, the River Valley area, in other places, that we have a good mall. A lot of people come to see that, and we have a lot of festivals going. So once you have people coming, there are a lot of activities, and that is one of my source of revenue generation for the city.
All right.
Bring people in.
Got it. Now let's talk a bit about the economy because you mentioned business and there's different ways to attract businesses. You can cut taxes, you can give tax holidays, you can reduce red tape, or you can give direct supports and direct grants. What kind of things do you think need to be done?
First, the permits. The when they apply for permits, it takes very long time to get it. Very, that red tape. I think you're talking about that thing. Yeah, we need to fix that, make it easy for them. So permits are very important. The more people apply for to get, they want building something, they want to start a new business or something, we need to make it easier for them. That is one thing. Yeah, tax, we need to, on the city level, because the province or the federal level, we cannot do much. On the city level, we need to help out. We need to especially after this pandemic, and especially how the economy is going, we need to help out. And we need to cut our, if I'm elected in city council, we need to cut our, expenses also to manage and help out the people.
All right, let's talk about the kind of things that you might want to attract. You've talked about tourism, but oil and gas has been a core part of Edmonton's economy for a long time. Leduc Find was just a few minutes down the road. Do you think that there is a good future for the oil and gas industry and for jobs in it?
Unfortunately, I don't see that. And if it comes back, good. But I don't see that. And we need to move on now. We need to find other renewable sources of energy. If this doesn't come back, we cannot be waiting for it. So this is the time. This is the time. Maybe we're a little late, but we need to move to in tomorrow. This oil industry, if it comes back, fine. If it doesn't, we should have another path to go on and fix our economy.
What do you think that is?
Well, first of all, Edmonton, we can improve on tourism. We can have some incentives for the tech industries, which can they can come in our city, and we can have them, give them some incentives, and those tech industries or some other kind of industries, we can allow them to have more tax holiday or something that they can come and have business with us.
Okay, you mentioned renewable energy. There was a project that was a little controversial, and it was the solar project from EPCOR in the River Valley. It passed only 7-6, so there was a lot of dissension around that. If you'd been voting, how would you have voted on that project?
It's very controversial. I'm in campaign stage. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to make tough decisions. And sometimes when you need it, I saw their video and I saw where it is located. As long as it is not affecting our environment, as long as it is not causing a pollution, even visual pollution, it is not causing that. That's what they were saying. It's not going to cause that. So if we need something, there is a need and there is a want. And so if you need something, we need to do it then. We can, Canada is a big country. And if we need something near the city like that, we have refineries here, oil refineries. So that thing, I would have voted for it because you need it and you have to get it.
Okay, let me ask you about infrastructure because you've already said that you would take a more hands-on approach to project management. Now, the Valley Line Southeast has suffered multiple significant delays during construction. What's your understanding of the reason for these delays, and what would you have done differently to avoid them?
Well, there were some delays, I think, about funding issues, and there were some construction issues. Some of them where they were digging, I think they were not expecting a few things, and it happened, so that caused a lot of delays. Better survey. you would know what is ahead of you when you're going through a hill or somewhere. You know what is in front of you, and yeah. So these things are very important. Okay, forest management. So that if these projects are finished on time, we can save a lot of money. So that will also be in my
Mhm.
mind. They people decide, or they do a lot of things, and they maybe they did not see or foresee a lot of things, and it happened. And hopefully when I'm there, we'll be more vigilant about it, because tax saving or taxpayers money saving is very important to me, and we'll be more vigilant in that
Okay,
sense.
well, let's talk because there's other big plans to build future LRT extensions, including the Valley Line West, the Metro Line Northwest, and the Capital Line South. Do you think that further expansion of LRT in the city is the right way to spend public transport dollars, or do you think that there's a better way of doing it?
Yeah. The way I see the city, the way it is planned for a certain population,
Mm,
which we have not reached yet. And
mm,
this expansion going on now, I think it's a little early for the city to have all those expansions, especially in the LRT lines. It's a little early for that. We need that in future for sure, but now, maybe in 5 years or 10 years, we may not need them. So a better solution for now is BRT, this bus rapid
mm,
transit. Faster buses is a good solution for that. Our city was supposed to expand population-wise, but due to this COVID and this economy, we are shrinking actually.
mm.
So if we hit this 2.5 or million population mark, yeah, we will need them. But for now, we should wait on it
Hmm.
and
All right.
yeah, use the buses.
All right. Let's talk about housing, which you said is your area of expertise. And you'd mentioned affordable housing, but I'm interested to know, what do you mean by affordable housing?
There are two meanings to it. What I studied, there's a design wise also. So the way we design housing is different from how they design normally. Um, For example, if we get a grant for housing for 100 units, the way we design affordable, they might be able to build 120 units in that. So one is that thing, the design aspect of it. The second is this homelessness. We need to
Hmm.
help out in. There will be a little research required. We have housing, we have places to stay for the people. Why are these people still in the streets when we have some places we design and we think this is a good solution for, but these people still end up in the streets? What is the reason? Of course, there is a social issue in it.
Hmm.
People may not want to, the people in the streets already, they may not want to live in those units. So we need to figure out what is the problem with that. A lady mentioned to me, she sent me an email asking me about that thing. So she gave me an example of Winnipeg. They have one smaller units, and they have a meeting place, and people live there and they meet in their own people. So that can be one of the solutions. The social thing is very important, I think, in this
Right.
housing area. Yeah. So we need to figure out how to put the people who like to live together in the same area, and they live there, not leave.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about building community. So let me ask a community question in a bit of a different way, because the new Edmonton City Plan focuses on urban development, promoting more density, more transit, and 15-minute communities, but it also restricts development in the outskirts of the city. Are you concerned that that might impact affordability in the long run?
um, well, it would, because it's a free market, and when you restrict things and you tell them this is the way to go, and a lot of people are going there, the prices go up anyways. So we need density, because Edmonton, most of part of Edmonton is empty, and they're building around the city. So what is the problem? Is the cost high? The taxes are high? What is the thing? We need to figure out that, and perhaps we can figure out, make them affordable for people who can buy the land here and build, and bring people in. That can be one solution. Yeah, 15-minute transit, a good idea. We'll try to do that. So far, what they did with transit, nobody's happy,
Hmm.
and everyone is complaining, because they were, even I talked to a lady, a senior lady. she would say, she said, we used to go to a temple, and a bus would pass in front of it. Now it goes like 5-6 blocks away from me. I have to walk all the way. And for seniors, this is not possible even when it's winter. There's one a temple on 66th Street. Either a mosque and temples are all in one location. It used to be a bus passing in front. 66 is a big street. That bus doesn't go through there now. And people are saying, why? I mean, people are still using that temple, and people are coming to this temple. And even that is under construction, it will be getting bigger. So I'm not sure how these decisions are made that to cut off those services from those areas. I'll be looking and seeing what happened, how decisions are made, and why buses are not going there. Transit is very important for people.
Let me ask you, in this concept of 15-minute communities, you gave one example of where it's not quite working in some of your communities. Are there any other amenities that are missing in your ward?
Well, we need these BRTs. We need faster. We have these transit terminals everywhere. I think the population is not that much. The designers or the city is going faster than the pace of the need. So we need to make things simple here. Simplify things in our design and everything. We say, make it simple.
Okay.
So people understand better. People use it easier, and its simplicity lasts longer. We need to make things simple for people. They understand. When it make them complicated, some people get it, some won't, and this is the problem then.
Let me ask you about another development issue, which is the Latchford lands. Do you think that the city should continue to be its own developer, or do you think that there is a different way of approaching that project?
I think the taxpayer money should not be used by the city, because whenever the governments do things, it becomes expensive. When they do it, it costs a lot. So let's find a better solution for that. If the city or the governments, even the provincial or federal, they do things, it costs more than double than the private sector. So let's save some taxpayer money, find better solutions, find better maybe developers. So yeah, we'll look into it.
All right. Let me ask you a few other questions. I was going to ask you about 40-kilometer-per-hour speed limits. I'm just wanting to make sure I understand the nature of the concern. Are people worried that they've reduced it too much in areas where it should be higher, or do they want it reduced lower? What are you hearing?
Well, it's been crazy. So see, people tell me there's a 30-kilometer school zone or playground, 40-kilometer residential, 50 normal street, 60 on bigger streets, 70 on this 91 street or other street, 80 on White Mud Drive, 90 on Yellowhead, 100 on Anthony Henday, 110 on highway. Since people will be looking at those signs, what speed should I be driving, and not looking at the people? So it's very confusing. And I don't know how they will be enforcing it in the residential areas, because you can put the signs up everywhere and spend millions of dollars on that, but how do you enforce it? And it's very confusing, and a lot of people.
You described that well. That's a good example. Let me ask you another policing issue, because in the last year, we've had a movement calling itself defund the police. I'm just wondering what that means to you and what we should take from that movement. What should we learn from it?
I think the police was funded some time ago. Hefty funding were provided to them, and they think it didn't work much, like it didn't solve anything. So they would like it to be reduced. What I see is the way in our area, especially in Millwoods area where we'll be running from, there are a lot of racism and hate crimes happening. And I don't know, or I don't think anyone has been brought to justice yet. And if those things are not solved, funding the police, so it didn't work, we have almost every day, there is an incident of hate crime. We call it hate crime, but it's people are scared and they're terrorized. I don't know what you call that. Especially one section of society, in women especially. They've been threatened every day. They've been pushed. Some have been tried to even hit by cars. They survived, and some were hit in different areas. So if those things are not tackled, if people are not being arrested, or they're not being brought to justice, or this problem is not being solved yet, I'm not sure what is the funding is going to do for the police. And that is also our plan after elections. If I'm in the office, we'll bring all the communities together, every religious ethnic group, and we will have a dialogue and talk about those things. Like if a certain faith group, especially the soft target of them, cannot come in the streets and they are scared for their lives, it cannot be in Canada.
Okay.
It cannot be Edmonton. It can be some ISIS country, but Canada is not that. Canada is much better than, we're the best in the world anyways. So we cannot allow this to happen in the future. We need to give not only security, but also provide safety to people. Safety is the feeling of security. So people would walk in the street night, day, nothing would happen. Now they are scared even during the day. It cannot be happening in Canada. So we need to bring people together. We need to isolate those people who are hate mongers, who are misguided, and who can go to that extent to, commit a crime. We need to isolate them or bring them back to society. That maybe some people are misguided, and others, we'll identify them. So that is my goal also in future.
All right. I want to end on a bit of a lighter note. That was a really intense conversation. But so this one is just a little bit on the lighter side. Have you had a chance to look at the downtown public library, the think tank? So I'm looking at it right now, and I just have one question for you. Do you love it or do you hate it?
I was actually working for Stantec when they were designing this library. There's a design by Stantec,
So you designed it?
No. God forbid, no. I was working on another project. So, do you want me to comment on it? A lot of people
just want to know if you love it or hate it.
Is there a middle part? Can I say in the middle?
Sure.
Well, it could have been better from the outside.
We'll leave it there. I'm just having a little bit of fun with you. Let me just ask you a couple final questions about your role as a council member. There's a referendum that's going to be happening in conjunction with the municipal elections, one on daylight savings, one on equalization. Other municipalities are having local plebiscites as well. What's your take on that issue? Do you think that there are issues that should be put to a general vote of people, or as an elected representative, do you want to make those decisions yourself?
You know what? It takes a lot of burden off you when people decide for you. And I would, even the speed limit, the 40 kilometers, I would have gone for a plebiscite or referendum.
Oh.
Yeah, because a lot of people are not happy. A lot of people are complaining. So far, I'm sure there are supporters of the people they want, but I've not met anyone yet. But I'm sure I'll meet a lot of people. People complain about the speeding in the residential areas, of course. But I would have put up to a referendum. Let people decide. So if people are complaining that the city council did something, or we have to guide them anyways. But this kind of issues are really related to people. So let them decide what they want. We'll do for it, because we are there as their representatives. If there's a 50-50 divide on something, and we decide we're making 50% people unhappy, so it's kind of gets really tricky for us also. I would,
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. Thank you. Let me ask one more question, because it's related to that, which is that sometimes the city administration will put forward a proposal, give you a recommendation to pass it because they say it's best for the city as a whole, but your constituents will want you to vote the other way. What would you do in those circumstances?
When you are in the city council, you have to think of the whole city, and whatever is good for the city. If the majority of people in my constituency or ward are opposed to it, if it is good, a good thing is always good. We need to convince them. We need to explain to them that how much good it can bring to the city. We might be sacrificing a bit, but the goodness is more than the sacrifice. So, people are good-hearted here, and they would understand.
All right. Thank you so much for the conversation today. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. That is Sana Kakar. He is your candidate for Karhiio.